Hello everyone and welcome to the third round of the León Cupra Eurocup Online. My name is Ed, I'm here with my co-commentator Felix, and we had the two semi-finals yesterday, and obviously today we have our two races which will form the final of the León Cupra Eurocup Round 3 at Estoril in Portugal, a great circuit. So excited for the racing action we're going to see today, Felix?
Yeah, I'm very excited to see the racing here. Thank you for having me here today, Ed.
No problem, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got a pretty packed grid, almost 20 cars, I believe, ready to go for the qualifying session.
Yeah, they're just doing the driver briefing now, I believe.
Yeah,
with the race director. But anyway, while we're waiting for them to finish that briefing for qualifying to start, which of course will be a 20-minute session, when remember in qualifying, of course, the top 5 qualifiers will get points. 5 points for qualifying on pole, 4 for second, 3 for third, 2 for fourth, and 1 for fifth. Out of the, I think at least, I think we might even have the at least 20 drivers competing. So yeah. Anyway, let's look at the championship standings very quickly. Mark Perez leads the championship at the moment, having not having won a race yet, but having done consistently well across all 4 rounds we've had so far, and getting points in the 2 qualifying sessions. From the previous round, just a reminder, were Barcelona and Silverstone, of course. Christian Kwiatkowski, who's the champion from last year's Eurocup Championship, trying to, very narrowly in a very tense finale in Barcelona. He's in second at the moment. Then we have Pepe de la Harris, another driver who's done pretty well in the semi-final, finished second in the second semi-final yesterday at Estoril. Then we have Miguel Balester, who's extremely highly rated, has won both of the qualifying grid races, not done so on the reverse qualifying grid, but has been, if it was just a normal series with normal grid, every grid was just as they qualified, then Balester would be leading it for sure. And he was definitely a bit disadvantaged from missing the semi-final beat at Silverstone, because there was a server issue. He got disconnected and couldn't get back in again, so he's got a lot of points to make up again. Then we have Jair Borges, the American, in 5th. He's won the reverse grid race at Barcelona, and he's definitely one to watch out for, as is Pablo Lopez, who did lead the championship after the first round, but didn't do quite so well at Silverstone. He's still in 6th though, and I believe the top 6, I think it's the top 8 or the top 6 are all within about 60 points of one another. So yeah, it should be very close.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, Mark Perez is leading with 146 points, and is it Pablo Lopez only about 33 points behind that. So everything is still, well, pretty.
Yeah, there's no one who's quite running away with it. I mean, obviously, I kind of expected Balester to run away with it in some of the time. I think in some of the races he's been running away with it, but in the championship overall, due to that missing that one race, not his fault obviously with the disconnection, but. Yeah, it's definitely bunched things up. Anyway, just rounding out the rest of the top 10, we have the likes of Andrea Perez, not to be confused with Mark Perez leading the championship. I always get those two mixed up because of the last names. And it's the same, there's 2 guys called Javier as well. So we'll see today. I think that's Javier Polanco and another Javier.
Yeah, Casero for
that's
27. Yep.
So Andrea Perez is 7th, Javier Polanco is 8th in the championship. Then we have Juan Gerardo, a pretty good driver who's definitely been improving a lot as these races, we see each race goes on. Then we have rounding out the top 10 the likes of Antonio Sanchez in 10th, Victor Rull 11th, Roberto Gonzalez 12th, Esteban Tellez 13th, Kevin Siggy 14th. Kevin Siggy only started in Silverstone and won the reverse grid race there, so Kevin Siggy, the Austrian, we could see making up a few places in the table. And then we have the likes of Daniel Antequera, Carlos Fidesz, Expo. Other way around, of course, Antequera is 15th and Expo is 16th. Expo, is that his last name, or was it Fidesz Expo? But anyway, then there's Ricardo Otero, Marx, he's like Jose Miguel Rosello in 19th, Carles Lagadera in 20th, Celestino Sanchez 21st, Daniel Buller 22nd, Jamie Klavko 23rd, Fran Castano 24th, Carlos Marzo 25th, Jordi San Andres in 26th, Javier Cavero 27th, that's the other Javier here, and 28th Andres Santururo, 29th Felipe Gil, and 30th last but not least, of course, Miguel Angel Diaz. So,
Yeah, it's especially as you said on the top, it's still very close to each other, and everything is still to
yeah,
play
and this
for here.
qualifying session because he well make a little difference already in the
Yeah.
championship table, and you need every point you can get, so pole position could be crucial. And let's talk a little bit about Estoril, the track itself that we're going to be seeing in action today. We saw I think actually the two semi-finals, we saw a fair bit of a really close overtaking. There's certain sections where you can actually run side by side for several corners in a sequence. That I think one of my favorite, I think the two Parabolica corners, Parabolica Interior, which is turn 6, and Parabolica Ayrton Senna, which is the last corner. They seem to be very good spots to, if not overtake, at least set up a move onto the straight following it.
Yeah, there are, especially after those Parabolicas, two pretty long straights. Of course, the main straight after Parabolica Ayrton Senna. So yeah, we may be seeing some slipstreaming, guys setting up the car, making sure they get the best exit as
Yeah, they
possible
might be
out of
making it
those
slippery in a
corners.
straight line, but they might struggle more in the corners. We have seen a lot of sliding and drifting, and particularly one thing I noticed interestingly in terms of track limits, two things. One, at the exit of turn 2 into turn 3, I noticed some drivers going a little bit wide, getting wheels on the grass sometimes if they have too shallow a line into turn 2, and often that means that the guy behind can maybe make a move down the inside into turn 3, which is a little difficult to do because obviously the guys who run wide be carrying more speed anyway, and it's just whether you notice that in time and react and put yourself in the right position. But the other thing I noticed is that some of the corners, particularly Orhilia and the Parabolic Interior and the chicane and a couple others, they have these sort of little round blocks of tires on the apex, and I've noticed sometimes when the drivers get out of shape, they knock them off, and those just end up in the gravel somewhere. But yeah, they're very. I think they're, as a driver, if they're still there, they're kind of helpful for picking out your apexes. At some of the, especially Gancho, the chicane, is kind of an uphill one,
Yeah.
so you've really got to. It's not exactly blind, but especially after you've driven several laps, you know exactly where to turn roughly. But yeah, it's always helpful to have them there than to have them not there, and it's definitely a interesting way of keeping drivers within track limits because obviously you hit that, you get those tire little blocks, you're gonna get out of shape really massively.
It's a pretty difficult circuit. I mean, a lot of complex corners, flowing sections, and we will see how the drivers cope with it in qualifying. I guess I'm just looking now at the
Yeah, we're
results.
going to see them taking a lot more risks in qualifying, especially with points
course.
on offer.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at the results in the practice session, and it's already really close between the top three. I mean, Miguel Ballester was quickest in the practice session with a 1 minute 41.924, and only what is it, 61 hundredths behind that is Luis Dalmau.
Yeah, Dalmau was really impressive actually. He's someone I don't think we've seen in the championship before. He's another newcomer, but he drove in the when Cloudsport helped run the qualifiers for the Formula E event in Vegas. Dalmau competed in that, and Formula Car didn't quite suit him quite as I remember the race in Berlin in particular. He ended up holding one of the red line drivers. I forget exactly who it was, but yeah, he was drifting all over the place, and his defense of I think a 10th position in the race, so he was in the top 10 certainly, but it sort of ended quite badly for him with a huge crash. And but Dalmau definitely got a lot of talent, and it's sort of showing a lot more in these León Eurocup cars.
Yeah, and also want to look out for Pepo de la Heras.
Definitely. De La Harris and Ballester, I think, are two of the big ones to watch out for, as Christian Kwiatkowski as well, of course.
Yeah, of course. That's all going to be very exciting in qualifying, and I mean that's only qualifying. After that, we have a race, and in these kind of cars, it's always really exciting racing, in my opinion.
Well, I think what we found before is that the first race tends to be a little bit. You get a slightly more action-packed start because it's the first race of the day, obviously, but and then the race sort of calms down, and then in the second race, the reverse grid race, you tend to see the race is kind of crazy throughout, just because everyone is out of position, especially in the top 10. You get some of the lower order in the top 10 guys who aren't used to running. Not all of them are used to running high up, and you see some of them cope really well with the pressure of being in front, and some of them are sort of a bit all at sea, and they cause incidents and stuff like that. Surprisingly, in the semi-finals yesterday, we saw very few incidents. Actually, I think there was only one thing that was investigated by the stewards in the end. The most dramatic, I think we only saw two retirements, both of them in the second semi-final. One of them was, I won't say who it was, but one of the guys I found out afterwards ran out of fuel, and that was why they just had to stop driving. But
yeah, that's always a bit disappointing to see someone running out of fuel. But
yeah, I guess
happens.
It's one of the
part
rookie
of the
drivers, you know. It's when you, as we see drivers are coming out now, I think I don't believe it's to start the qualifying session because they reset the server first, but it looks like maybe the driver's briefing's done.
Yep, I'm guessing so. So the drivers just probably getting ready for that qualifying session. Maybe for one last try, see where the grip is on the track at the moment.
I think it's always a little fun to see the little psychological battle when the session starts. That you see this huge queue of cars waiting to go out and set their quali time. They're all looking for the most space on track to set their laps, obviously, so they don't run into each other. But you do know some of them try and join the little rush, the race to be first across the line and set a time, and they sometimes put themselves at a disadvantage, like fighting each other like that.
Yeah, it's always
it's a difficult thing to judge, though, because you never know quite what all the other guys are going to do.
Yep. Well, of course, I mean, if the guy in front of you also makes a mistake, I mean, maybe even spins, then your qualifying lap may be also ruined. So
yeah, I believe it causes a yellow flag. What else is there to talk about this track? I guess it's one of the old school tracks, Estoril, very famous for holding Formula 1 between 1984 and 1996. Of course, probably one of the most famous things that happened here was Ayrton Senna getting his win in the rain in 1985, which was his first ever win in Formula 1. And that time, of course, on that day, the race in 1985, the rules we see just that the S's before the last corner, the tyre barrier, as I talked about, just being flicked into the air by someone of his guys running too wide here, and that's what's caused that. But of course, we don't know when the session's going to be reset or not. And you made an interesting point about the times earlier being quite close. I'm just going to check those out for myself. Oh, no, that's championship standings. Here we go. Yeah, so you said Ballesta 141.9. I believe he set... I definitely set a 41 time. I think it was a 41.8 in qualifying for the semi-final, so there's definitely a little... I think if that's a brilliant time, don't get me wrong, but there's probably a little bit of time left on the table that Ballesta will get out. That's from my experience watching him qualify. He's the master at this. He's just getting that little bit of extra time out when he needs it. And what I was sort of trying to lead into when I talked about Senna's win, the rain at Estoril, we had a wet qualifying session at Silverstone, which was a bug, I believe, because I think there's a rule in Championship that pretty much all the sessions have to be dry. Because that way it's fair. That way, I think it's just another variable that they wanted to take out of the Championship. But it started raining at Silverstone. They had to reset qualifying midway through, and we had a 10-minute session instead of a 20-minute one. And Ballesta really, when it counted at the end, he really blitzed it, and it looked for a second like he wasn't going to be on pole. I was like, oh, he gets on this little outlap, or he just gets very out of shape into Gancho, the chicane. The rear just really wanted to get away from him there, and I think he's going to reset back to the pits. Yeah, always fun to watch Ballesta when he's pushing it. Because go on, sorry.
it's always difficult to get that one lap right when it's really needed.
Especially in these cars, they've got a lot of horsepower, and especially because they're rear-wheel drive, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, so some people may think, yeah, well, these cars, I mean, it's only a Seat. It's pretty easy to drive right, but
it's not quite the same as the road-going Seat, is it? Especially with a massive rear spoiler and really powerful engine. And
especially on the limit, these cars can be quite tricky to drive.
They're fun to drive as well, though. I think that's the main thing that comes across in this series. We see a great quality of racing, and I think the clearest example of that was in the first semi-final yesterday when Dalmau and who was it? It was Adria Perez and Dalmau had a big fight for second place. Adria Perez was a little bit slow, but holding off Dalmau the entire race, as I believe we're about to see. That just lag on my end, or is the server being reset? It is being reset for qualifying. Yes, there was a great fight between Dalmau and Perez, with Dalmau winning it in the end, but he had to make a really good move. He set it up at Parabolica Interior, and they ran side by side for several corners through Orhelia and into Gancho, the chicane. Of course. And that was probably one of the best battles we saw yesterday, and it'd be interesting to see if they qualify together on the grid again, or whether Dalmao's up there with the leaders rather than with Adrian Perez, who's more of a midfield driver, it's fair to say, but definitely shines on occasion.
Yeah, so the driver's now driving out of the pit
queue
lane.
we were talking about. They're all queuing up the exit to get out in set times.
Juan Jurado is in front, and right behind him it's Christian Kwitniewski. So let's see who is going to be the first to set that lap and be the quickest after that first lap.
Yeah, I believe there's also, for those watching on the stream, there's a little system in terms of the numbers that they're using, so you can roughly tell. Actually, in fact, let me have a look, because some guys have reset to the pits now, so I've lost their numbers. But yeah, Adrian Perez finished third in the first semi-final, and he's got number 5. So I believe Balesta won the first semi-final, should have number 1 on his car. So it's a sort of, yeah, there is a sort of little system, but I'm not sure how consistently they're keeping to it, especially if like someone drops out or not, whether they take the number of the guy in front or whatever. But yeah. And the easiest way is to tell what color car they are. So Balesta pretty much always drives in the black car, and Kwitniewski seems to favour the. In fact, Kwitniewski is number 1 in his car actually, which is it makes sense because he won the second semi-final. Yeah, so it seems that they're doing it way around to what I thought and assumed there. But anyway, are we seeing the first times coming in now? It looks like, are they at the end of their first outlap yet?
Yep, I think they're just coming out of the last Parabolica now to start their first lap.
And Hirado still quite close to Kwitniewski. Hirado, of course, definitely one of the, as I said, he was an improving driver. He put on a lot of overtakes in the first semi-final to finish 4th, I think, in the end. But yeah, he's definitely... Is he going to try and overtake Kwitniewski to start his qualifying lap? He's going to be compromised. He's going to compromise either one or both of them if he does that. And Kwitniewski brakes quite late, and yeah, it seems to be on his way. So it looks like they're all just going to follow each other. But yeah, there's a potential for this to go wrong for somebody if they're not careful.
Yeah, definitely. Kwitniewski pushing quite hard. You see some tire smoke. A bit of... Yeah,
you do see them get a lot of tire smoke, especially on a good lap. They tend to be pushing the limits. You get one little skid mark at the rear as the front inside tire for whatever corner it is tends to take the most load, I find.
Yeah.
We're just seeing the first split times. 36.9 for Kwitniewski. The guys behind, that's Hirado, Sanchez, and Rosell, were all in the 37s and 38s. So yeah, 36.9 of course. So he's only a little bit faster than Adrian Perez, who's also coming in set his first sector now, 37.0. So
yeah, at the moment Pepo de la...
It looks like Kwitniewski's setting the benchmark time here, but the others are going to have to beat.
Yep.
He's just going into the chicane now. He's neat and tidy. I think is that Hirado and whoever's behind Hirado fighting him with him. We'll see. Miguel Balesta also starting his lap now, which could well be a good one. He's got a lot of clean track ahead and behind him, so...
Juan Jurado just went off the track and
got
overtaken by Sanchez.
That's really not ideal for your qualifying lap.
No.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he gets a better second run anyway. Christian Gibbsy crossing the line now to set the first time of the session. And it is...
41.6.
Yeah, 41.6.
Good lap time there. Let's see, nobody getting close to it even.
Yeah, Hirado, of course, in the gravel, so he's 2 seconds behind that. Adrian Perez 6/10 down on his first lap. So that'll be a 42.2. A 142.2 rather.
Yeah, keep an eye out on...
Yeah, so the guys, Kwitniewski, Perez, and a couple others all just reset. Pretty much everyone reset to the pits after that first lap, obviously, for some reason. Because I assume because I always wondered why they did it. Because some drivers seem to prefer staying on track for a while and threading several hot laps together, whereas others just prefer set one lap, go back to the pits, set another hot lap. And I think it seems to be sometimes it's a way of avoiding traffic, and other times it's more of a rhythm thing for each driver that they like to sort of...
Yeah, maybe also tires. I mean, you see them skidding the tires all over the track. So maybe tires just overheating when you get through that last corner, and then if you want to do another lap, you're going to lose out a little bit on grip.
I agree, especially with the really long corners as well. But that last corner really takes the load if you're pushing it on the front tires. So yeah, we could see and especially in the race as well, where time management is going to become much more crucial. We could see it being much more of a factor as Ballester now sets the fastest time, not by much, less than a tenth of a second actually, 0.028 in front of Kwiatkowski, but it's a 41.629 for Ballester. And so the order after the first couple of laps have been set, and we've got 15 minutes left of the session. So that's the order at the moment. Ballester in pole, provisional pole, Kwiatkowski second, Pepe de la Harris third, Louis Dalmal fourth, Kevin Siggy fifth, Adria Perez sixth, Eloise Lois in seventh, Pablo Lopez 8th, Burgues in 9th, and Celestino Sanchez rounding out the top 10 at the moment. And remember, very important to remember, of course, that the first 5 get 5 points for. You get Leicester at the moment is set to get 5 points for pole, and the guys behind him also in the top 5 will get a few points. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted there because I'm looking at the timing on my phone, and my phone is just lost information for some reason. But I can still see what's going on the screen, so I'll
I'll look at that. I mean, all the guys starting their second laps at the moment. Let's see how they are gonna do. Christian, of course, just shy of that pole position at the moment. Let's see what he can do.
It's always frustrating to be. Purple first sector for Kwiatkowski, a tenth faster, of course, as you say. So he just needs to keep that up through the rest of the lap. He's going into Parabolica Interior now. That looks pretty tidy to me.
Yeah, it looks good at the moment. Second sector. Gonna be up shortly.
Yeah, into Orhelia. Oh, a little bit. Has to take at least two goes at turning that one in, but he shouldn't have lost too much time there.
Purple second sector as well.
Yeah, he's really pushing. But Pepe de la Harris purple in the first sector as well, as is Pablo Lopez. So we're seeing a lot of purples right now. Obviously natural early in the session. So we'll have to see what times they are. So Lopez 36.6, de la Harris 36.8, and Kwiatkowski 36.8 in the first sector. They're all. It looks like actually Pablo Lopez has now lost 2 tenths in the second sector, but Kwiatkowski is crossing the line now. Let's see what time he sets, whether it's good enough for pole.
Yeah, it is. 141.523. Good lap there from Kwiatkowski.
So he's gone a tenth faster then. And
let's see how.
Here's De La Harris about to finish his lap too. Yeah. Oh, little bit of sliding through the S's, but he's just going through. That's the last. That's Parabolica, isn't it? In the center.
Yep.
He's just coming through now.
So coming to the line now.
Purple in the second sector, not the first, but he's faster in the first, and is up by less than a tenth of a second as he crosses the line and goes on pole. Eclipses the time just set by Kwiatkowski. So Kwiatkowski so close, it's a little bit far, as we see now. Pepe de Harris 141.4, Kwiatkowski 141.5. and Ballester 141.6. So if I was to guess, I think that those 3 are going to be the ones fighting for pole here, because Adria Perez 2 tenths off them. 2 tenths off of Ballester rather.
Yeah.
Whereas the others are all right close to each other, within about a tenth.
Yeah, I think Kwiatkowski mostly lost it in that last sector there. Pepe de la Harris.
Oh, he's on another good one though.
Ooh, he is, yeah.
Kwiatkowski. Or is that Ballester? No, it's Ballester, sorry, who's on a great one at the moment. He's
and there we go.
Where is he on? Yeah, there we go. He's just set pole. Original pole again with 141.149. So yes, 0.038 ahead of De La Harris. So the margin's very, very narrow. So it'll be interesting to see after the session maybe which exact sectors it is that Ballester is just able to eke out over De La Harris at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, it is almost halfway now, so still quite a bit to go for people to improve.
Yeah, exactly. The order, the top 5 at least, you remember who get points. It's Ballester, De La Harris, Kwiatkowski, Adria Perez, and Kevin Siggy. Very surprised Mark Perez down in 8th actually. The championship leader at the moment isn't in the top 5 right now. It's a little bit disappointing to him. He's on a 42.1, so yeah, nearly 7 tenths or so down on the pole time. So definitely a little bit of work to do. It could be the setup. It could just be that he hasn't set a clean lap in. As I just switched to Kwiatkowski, sliding the rear out of turn 2. Really trying to push to get up onto the front row here. 10 minutes remaining. And he goes through VIP, curve at VIP, which is turn 4, pretty cleanly.
Good first sector, by the way.
Yeah,
36.7.
purple, 36.7. He's nearly 2 tenths actually up on the pole time of Leicester, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, but he gets very wide and into the almost into the gravel there, but I think that was lag on my end into Parabolica Interior.
Yeah, he just missed the apex on the inside a little bit. Ooh, and now he really drifts it.
Yeah, that car looks really difficult to drive there for Ohilia because the rear seem to be trying to go to into the barriers or to a completely different circuit entirely.
Yeah.
Oh yes, he's a little bit down now. I think this lap is going to be very compromised. Is anyone else on a good lap? Adria Perez is on a decent one. He's only under a tenth down.
And Peppo is also on a good first sector, just 500 slower than Christian's first sector just now.
Yeah.
Let's see what Christian can do coming to the line.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be quite good enough for pole. Let's see, still third. Yeah, yep. So he did lose a fair bit of time there in that second sector. So let's see what De La Harris is up to. He's just coming through the Gancho chicane right now.
It looks a little bit tidier than what Christian was doing.
Second sector, purple in the second sector too. So it's really about that run to the line now. He needs to make sure he gets it inch perfect. No, doesn't need to brake anymore now. The left rear tyre taking the load actually, and that's the outside tyre, not the inside, as I mistakenly said earlier. I'm sorry. But Hugo runs to the line now, and what is the time going to be from Pepe De La Harris? Is he going to get back on pole? As Balesta also on a purple time right now.
Here we go, yeah.
Yeah, a 10 faster, 41.3, so they are really pushing it. I thought a low 42 time was really quick, but it seems like these guys were holding back all throughout the qualifying week for the semi-finals. Meanwhile, Balesta really on a decent night. He's purple in sector 2, not in sector 1, but he's still up on De La Harris's time.
Gonna be close. This last sector is gonna be really crucial for Balesta here. Coming through Parabolica, keeping it nice on the inside curb there.
Yeah, and doesn't put quite nearly as much load as we saw De La Harris putting on the rear left tyre through that last corner. Let's see what the time is as he goes to the line.
There we go.
Yeah, he takes pole position. 41.2. Wow, are they going to go into the 1 minute 40s here? That would be incredibly impressive. But already we're seeing
half a second now over like.
Yeah, we're seeing these guys really push the limit because they know that points are on the line. But Leicester immediately going back out of the pit lane. I guess we're waiting for them to start another flying lap then, the top 4 or so. Andrea Perez has actually gone faster than Kwiatkowski, so Kwiatkowski messing up his lap has actually cost him a bit there.
Yeah.
Put him a little bit out of sequence in terms of setting fast laps. Andrea Perez really impressed me so far, actually punching well above his weight. Well, I say that. I mean, I don't mean to sound insulting when I say that, but I mean he's doing much better than I would expected him to going in. I think that's a better way of putting it.
Yeah, well, Christian is now starting his next lap.
Interesting, Kevin Siggy down in 7th, so outside the top 5 at the moment, on a purple first sector, but he's 3 tenths down in the second sector, so it looks like it's not quite going to work out for him. Borges on a decent time, 36.9 in the first sector, so 2 or 3 tenths off what the top guys are doing. And now Kwiatkowski starts the lap.
Yeah,
and he's
sector.
Purple in sector 1, yes, 36.6.
Really nice.
Parabolica Interior. This is where it started to go wrong last time, going into this section. So he just needs to make sure he doesn't get crossed up here.
This is where it went wrong last time. Keeps it nice and tidy this time.
Yeah, that was very clean for Ohilia. Ooh, a little bit of turning on entry. He's just trying to get lined up perfectly for the chicane here. It's a tricky chicane really to set up for. I noticed in the semi-finals that the drivers that were taking it tighter, were sometimes catching out the guys who were taking the qualifying line, where they go really wide on exits, so they turn the least amount. And oh, look at that! He's punishing that rear left tire, Kwiatkowski.
Again, this last sector is going to be crucial. Maybe he can get a little bit of slipstream from the car in front of him, Ballester actually. So let's see what he can do.
Oh yeah, he's going to get revenge on Ballester here.
He improves, but it's not enough.
Let's go second fastest. That is a 41.2 there. Yeah, Ballester's actually gone faster himself, I think, a little bit. So he's set a 41.245, whereas Kwiatkowski 41.279, which of course is a 34 thousandths of a second slower. Hundredths of thousandths. Yeah, you're getting my decimal places mixed up. But the order anyway, with 5 minutes, 4 minutes now actually. Miguel Ballester on provisional pole, Kwiatkowski right behind him, Pepe Del Harris in third, Andrea Perez fourth, and Kevin Siggy in fifth. In the final, he'll set to get the final point at the moment. Siggy has got Mark Perez a 10th behind. Mark Perez has improved to a little bit, but Pablo Lopez actually is just set a better time than Mark Perez for 6th place and superseded him with a 41.6.
Miguel Ballester didn't have actually had a bad first sector, 36.9. It's almost 4/10 slower than.
That's very unlike him.
Yeah.
To set a bad time at all, it seems, in a qualifying session. It seems like every time he goes out there, he improves. Maybe,
second sector was a little bit better. But again, let's see what this last sector is going to bring him. Drifting through.
Yeah, there's not much time left to set too many more laps. I think Ballester might be able to set maybe 2 more laps. Some of the others as well. Looks like the most you're going to get is 2 more, I think, given the length of the lap.
Yeah, here we go, coming to the line now, Ballester. Is it going to be an improvement?
No. Oh, actually, he was down on himself, but he not by much actually. It was a 41.3 in the end there, only a tenth down.
Yeah. But yeah, 10th, it's already a pretty big margin. I mean, if you look at the top 3, there's not even, it's just over half a tenth between the 3
Kwiatkowski goes very much, he's just starting his lap. I noticed he went very much to the outside of the corner at Parabolica in Senna. So he could get the widest line and the best run onto the long straight for his. So he compromised that out lap, of course, but it doesn't matter because it's not timed. But now he's starting his flying lap now. Brakes into turn 1. Ooh, has to really stab that brake pedal a few times to get it stopped in time. Goes through turn 2. All looks neat and tidy through there. Into turn 3, goes for the inside quite early. Oh, but he's going to get traffic ahead of him. Who's that? Is that Borges in the blue car?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's going to catch him before the end of the lap unless Borges lets him through. So here we go. Let's see what the first split is like. Kevin Siggy sets a purple first sector, but is a 10th down. Here, Kwiatkowski 36.7. It's gone purple. He's a 10th up on Ballester, so this is crucial. If he can get this one right, he could be online for a pole position here, which would be a big upset in the scheme of things, with Ballester having aced qualifying so far in these finals. Here we go into Orhelia. Tricky as ever. He just about gets it in time. Catches the curb slightly, but that won't delay him too much. Oh, and he's got more traffic ahead, as he is a little bit offline entering the chicane, but takes it pretty well here. Yeah, he's down in the second sector. Oh, but he's only down by less than a tenth. By about half a thousandth, so he's really got to eke out everything he can. He will get one more lap, of course. As he runs to the line, I don't think it's quite going to be enough here. Can he get a little bit of slipstream here to help him along that fast main straight?
Yes, he can. Wow.
Oh, wow. There we go. 41.1. And he looks overjoyed with that. He's gone right into the barrier. Thankfully out of the way of Borges just behind. But
yeah, all pressure is now on Ballester. He's just starting his lap.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, did he lock up a little bit there into turn 3? Yeah. That looked heavy braking, certainly. But yes, 0.071 faster was Kwiatkowski on that lap. And really looked like he just got it all hooked up. I thought he was a little bit... The only place I thought he was a little bit weak was the entry into Gancha, the chicane. But he was, to be fair, slightly compromised by the lap car in front. And actually, considering he did it pretty well. to recover in that. Anyway, into Parabolica Interior with 21 seconds left of the session. He's not going to make the line for another run, Ballester, so this is it.
Also,
And he's green at the first sector, but he's not purple. He's 0.004 down.
Yeah, but Ballester has been a bit stronger than Kwidnivsky in the second sector. Here we go.
Oh, definitely, yes. Purple time there, and he's really fought back here. Not getting any traffic ahead of him into the chicane, so can he regain that pole position? Here we go. Let's do or die here.
It's gonna be really important for Ballester coming through the last Parabolica now.
I think this is going to be really tight here. It's very clean. He doesn't put much load at all on that rear tyre. Keeps as much grip as possible. Towards the line now. And is it going to be enough for pole position?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
141.0. That was an incredible time there. And right when it mattered, Ballester pulled out all the stops there. And is anyone else still on a lap, or have they all returned to the pit lane? Adria Perez still on one. Actually green in the first sector, but nearly 2 tenths down on Ballester's time. I don't think this is quite going to be a pole attempt, but can Adria Perez sneak an extra point away from Marc Perez, who's actually pulled it together and got into 4th place there while we were paying attention to the battle for pole?
Yeah.
Which is good for the championship leader, of course. Adria Perez actually caught back a bit of time though, although he lets the rear hang out a little bit into the chicane. Careless there, maybe. A little bit too much throttle. I think Adria is the only one who's improving at the moment on his lap.
He went very hard over the curbs there through the S's. Maybe lost out a little bit of time there.
This feels a little bit desperate by him. Just a last-ditch effort. He's already going to get a point, but you can tell he wants to take it away from the other Perez.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Nope, no improvement for him.
No, you're right. He really clattered those curbs there, and it's a shame because that looked pretty solid through at the second split there. Anyway, so it looks like qualifying is over then, and the order for the grid will be for the first race: Miguel Ballester on pole, getting 5 points, of course. Kvistin Kwidnivsky alongside will get 4 points. Pepe de la Harris will get 3. Marc Perez will get 4. He'll get 2, sorry. He's in 4th place and get 2. Adria Perez in 5th will get 1 point. Kevin Siggy just missing out there at the end. He'll start 6th though. Louis Dalmau will be 7th. Pablo Lopez will be 8th. And Heoboy is 9th. And Juan Gerardo, if he's still around for the second race, he should start on pole for it, because it's the top 10 reverse, remember. So I think Gerardo might fancy his chances for the reverse grid race. Celestino Sanchez will start 11th. Eloise Lois in 12th. Ricardo Otero 13th. Roberto Gonzalez 14th. Javier Quivero 15th. Jose M. Fernandez 16th. JM Cardenas in 17th. Don't ask what the JM stands for. 18th, Victor Rula. 19th, Juan Carlos Romero. And 20th, Jose Rizal brings up the rear. I didn't see quite what the spread over the whole field was, but I imagine it was only a couple of seconds, at least 5 or 6 maybe at most.
Yeah, very nice to see here, and especially at the top it was very close all through the qualifying session. I mean, Miguel and Christian and also Peppo were just switching out on that provisional pole position every lap.
Yeah, it really was quite even, and it reminded me of the end of Silverstone there, where it was again, I think, 3 of them fighting for pole position and swapping the provisional fastest lap between the 3 of them rather. And of them, of course, Ballester, a multiple race winner, Kwidnivsky, also a race winner and reigning champion essentially. Pepe de la Harris definitely the outsider there, but he's showing similar pace. So I think de la Harris, it might be his day to shine here if he can get a good start to maybe challenge Ballester. But of course he's got to get past Kwidnivsky as well. So yeah, that bodes really well for the first race, I think. As we see we just got a few minutes of warm-up. This is starting now as the drivers exit the pit lane. So warm-up, no one takes warm-up too seriously, I don't think. Usually we see a couple of them practicing maybe 1 or 2 different lines, maybe going side by side of each other. But really they're all just waiting for the big moment, which is of course the first race. They get a chance to win some big points. The first big points they'll win this weekend, of course. And
Yeah, I mean, warm-up session.
And
go ahead.
so you're breaking up on my end a bit there, Felix.
Oh wow.
Oh, they're back now. Okay, sorry. I
Alright.
think I'm also having a little lag on the server watching them all weaving around.
Yeah, no problem.
But anyway, I guess I think Mark Perez launching back up into fourth place was a real bit of a story we didn't focus on too much there. Of course, Mark Perez, championship leader, is he going to be starting in fourth place? Not quite having, he's a few tenths behind De La Harris at least, and is he going to? Do you think he's going to be aiming to just to sort of consolidate fourth place, keep Adria Perez, Kevin Siggy and such behind him, or do you think he's going to be looking more? Even though he's championship leader, it's not the most healthy lead. Do you think he's going to be looking to attack Dale Harris and sort of get ahead at the start and then worry about holding positions?
Yeah, I think, I mean, he wants to win. Who doesn't want to win here? But he needs to think also about, I mean, if he bins it now, then he definitely won't
It's
bin
very
anything
easy,
in
especially
the
how tight the
championship.
first corner is to get taken out there.
Yeah.
So if you're not careful.
So he needs to use his head, but maybe if he can get past Beppo, then he can maybe even try to keep him behind. Maybe he can even keep up with Christian and Miguel, but seeing the gap he had in qualifying, I don't assume that he will be really keeping up with him, but we'll see. Maybe he was just struggling,
we don't
didn't
know
get the lap
qualifying
together.
pace to race pace
Yeah.
as well. We saw in some of the semi-finals, some of the guys who were really good over one lap were just not quite as consistent in the race. They made mistakes, dipped a tyre into the gravel and lost a few places. So a disappointment, I think, in that session was Louis Dalmar, who of course was runner-up in the semi yesterday. Only 7th. Yeah, only 7th. And really, I expected a little bit more from him maybe, but of course still the race to go, and maybe, as we saw before, his race pace will come into his own against the likes of Adria Perez, Kevin Siggy. But yes, of course, some of them are going to go to the starting grid now and do a few practice starts. I see De La Harris, Lopez and Gerardo doing that. Of course, they quite smartly pull to the inside. Just practicing. Of course, you've got to release the clutch at the perfect point as well. And some of them choose to do it on the exit, the pit lane. Some of them choose to do it on the starting grid. But it really doesn't matter which, because they're roughly in the same place, I guess.
Yeah, of course, the rubbered line will make a little bit of a difference, but on the inside of the grid there, it's not really a rubbered in line. So
yeah, it's the dirty side eventually. Oh,
Yep.
The cleaner side with less rubber laid down, as you mentioned. So. And well, it's worth reminding everyone what the prizes are for the winner of this meeting, of course, over the 2 races. Of course, qualifying means that Ballester is currently, with 5 points from the meeting, he's currently the guy leading the charge to win those prizes. We've got 2 prizes. One is a Say It León jacket, as we see the tyre barrier being wiped out by somebody in the blue car. But one is a jacket, and the other is a play seat, a choice of 2 play seats. Is it play seat Revolution and play seat Elite, is it? Or L33T?
yeah.
Is the official term. But
So yeah.
Looks like that was a short warm-up then, because we're all being called to the grid in just over a minute. Usually warm-up takes a bit longer if there's a penalty from the previous race that carries over that they need to apply, or but the stewards here are very competent. They always take the time that they need, and this time they've been extremely efficient, it seems.
Yeah, good to see. I mean, the drivers are, of course, getting their nerves together now.
Yeah, ahead of a start, a driver can be the most impatient person in the world. We haven't seen any jump starts. They're all very disciplined, and they know that the best chance they've got is to react to the lights rather than anticipating them. But yeah, I think because unlike in something like Formula One where the lights go off at a random time, I believe it's always the same kind of sequence when the lights hold. And there's always the same period between the red light coming on and the green light coming on that signals it to go. Well, there's also a guy revving the checker, of course, on the pit wall. Did you wave a checker or a green flag at the start? I know you always checker at the end, but whatever. Yeah,
well,
But it looks like the good news is it looks like everyone's formed up on the grid, so no real connection issues.
Yeah, that's good to see. So, drivers now starting the formation lap.
Yeah, sorry, I just had Ballester out of shot there, so I was wondering, is he on pot? Yeah, he is. But,
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be the first time we see the full grid of the top 20 cars then running towards that. There's plenty of potential as we see the warm-up lap. Ballester never hangs around on his warm-up laps. Some of the others I've noticed in the reverse grids, they tend to take their time a bit and bunch the field up a bit earlier, but Ballester just likes to go for it and get over as quickly as possible, which I do kind of love about him. But full grid of...
Yeah, of course, formation lap is a bit important. You need to warm those brakes, warm those tires a little bit. Make sure you get the best start as possible out of those tires.
Yeah, and of course, and that's the other thing about Ballester speeding, that it gives the other guys less time to get their tires and brakes into that, you know, great operating window where they're going to work perfectly at the start, at least.
Yeah.
So you might see some guys not having enough time and sort of they're not warming them up enough, and they start too cold. Or you see other guys, they panic a bit, seeing how fast Ballester's going, and they brake really heavily and they wiggle all over the place, and the tires are burnt out at the end of the first lap, basically. So there is definitely a balance there, and yeah, we'll see who gets it right first then.
Yeah. So just coming through the
Gancho chicane.
Gancho chicane, yeah.
Into the S's. And Parabolica right in the center, of course. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where the moves are going to be made in this race, because I feel that most of them are in the Parabolica interior section, and the chicane. They seem to be the two main spots where we see moves set up and executed. But we do see a couple a bit earlier in the lap as well, turn 3 of course. Yep. And at the exit of the last corner, where they get the big run on the straight, of course, into turn 1. So, Ballester moving into his grid spot now. And all these incredibly powerful cars rumbling on the grid now, getting ready to release all that tension into the first corner. Ballester sort of angling towards Kwiatkowski, interestingly. So I wonder if he's going to cover him off there.
Yeah, he's going to try something.
Yeah, Kwiatkowski square in the box, so he's not worrying about positioning himself awkwardly. The light's just about to come on, and then our first race for the final in Estoril will begin. A few guys at the rear, I think. Just come in now. Oh, these cars are going to get awful hot now if they just stand there forever.
Yeah. Alright,
here we go. I hear them in the background. And the lights go off. Now! And they all walk right. Good getaway from Pepe de la Harris. He's going to be right alongside Kwiatkowski. But who's that in the red car in between? That's not...
Marc Perez, I think.
Yeah, it's Perez who's made a pretty decent start there. Ahead of Marc Perez. But Ballester's still holding the lead, but Kwiatkowski and Del Harris right alongside. Del Harris on the outside here into turn 2. And Del Harris is going to have to try and outbrake him into turn 3 if he wants any chance. But I think Kwiatkowski is going to hold it. Yeah, there we go. Kwiatkowski maintains second place then. And were there any incidents behind? It looked like everyone got there mostly cleanly. Still a couple of guys side by side there. Who's it behind? Someone going off there. That's Andrea Perez losing out to... Who's losing out? Kevin Siggy in the bright red car there. So Kevin Siggy up to 5th then.
Gonna go 3 wide. Here we go.
Yeah, he's going to the outside. That's going to let them come through. Oh, he gets
contact
hit in the
made
back
there.
Oh, so Kevin Siggy losing 2 places there. Pablo Lopez and Lou Dalmau making it through. Great start by Dalmau. He's really taking advantage of that incident there to gain 2 places.
Yeah, and the loser out of that first lap battle is Adria Perez. Almost spun around.
And of course,
into 10th place now.
All those battles behind, that's ideal for Ballester, of course, who's already eked out a small lead of, looks like, around about half a second over Kwiatkowski.
Yeah, maybe even more than that.
Yeah, perhaps I'll have to see when we get to the first split. Pablo Lopez still holding off Kevin Siggy in 6th place. And of course they've got Borges behind them. But I think Pablo Lopez is going to have the mirrors full here. Into turn 1. Is Siggy going to pull alongside and try something? He's pulling out. I'm not sure he's close enough to make a move here. So Pablo Lopez will stay in 6th.
Yeah, good to see that there are not too many incidents here in the first lap.
Yeah, just Andrea Perez being hit at the back. He's in 10th at the moment, just behind Celestino Sanchez. So it will be interesting to see whether Adria can fight back from that. We haven't heard anything from the stewards yet about any penalties, so I assume that's all clear. But we'll let you know if we do.
Yep, Ballister now 1.2 seconds ahead of Kwitniewski. Peppa Harris losing a bit of that connection to the
interestingly,
rear.
Ballister still setting sort of almost qualifying level times, 36.9. Everyone else in the 37s into that first sector on this second lap.
Great job there from Ballister. And
seeing a little battle here for 13th place between Lois and Gonzalez coming up to Gancho here, and Lois dives down the inside and outbrakes Gonzalez. But Gonzalez is going to try. No, he's not going to try anything around the outside. He's going to have to concede there.
He also needs to watch out for Ricardo Otero right behind him.
Yes, Ricardo Otero, he was very consistent in the semi-final. A lot of other drivers falling off, but Otero was able to stay on the road and finish, I believe, in the top 10, in 10th. So he's definitely going to be looking to make some progress here. Gonzalez not getting the greatest exit out the last corner. Is Otero going to take advantage? And meanwhile, we'll keep ourselves updated on the gaps at the front.
Yeah. Seems that Kwitniewski is sticking with Miguel Ballister at the moment. His last lap time was 0.02 of a second quicker than Ballister's last lap. So at the moment he's sticking with him. Let's see how far he can keep up that pace. And if he maybe can close in the gap a little bit and maybe fight for that lead in the race.
Ballister and Kwitniewski haven't faced each other in the semis yet, so they're not quite familiar with each other's pace in the race as they're facing each other. So I think Kwitniewski has got a decent chance of winning this race if he can keep with Ballister. But it's all going to come down in the end, I feel, to time management, and that's something that Ballister has always excelled at. So Kwitniewski's got his work cut out. Meanwhile, how far behind is De La Harris? As we see, Lopez still fighting with Dalmau for 5th. Yes, De La Harris still fairly good. Oh, as he really clatters into the inside barrier there, which is, I suspect, probably been dislodged slightly by one of the back markers, and now it's right onto the apex there for De La Harris. But he continues unscathed, doesn't look like his steering's bent or anything. Yeah, but it's always a little off-putting to hit something when you're just driving for a corner there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the moment at Luis Dalmau. He is trying to keep Pablo Lopez and Kevin Siggy behind him, but it's pretty difficult at the moment.
Yeah, I think has Lopez got by Siggy somewhere, because I saw he was ahead earlier.
That seems so. I have missed that myself as well, but let's see if Dalmau can keep these guys behind, or if he needs to concede that place. At the moment his pace isn't the best. Can't really keep up with Marc Perez and the front runners here.
I've seen a close battle here for 18th place near the back of the field. It's Juan Carlos Romero and Fernandez, Gracien Fernandez. Romero is going down the inside for 18th place here at turn 1. Ooh, a little bit out of shape. Ooh! And that was Fernandez hitting him in the back there.
Yeah,
sort of not anticipated. He didn't really see him coming, I don't think. Or he just tried to avoid him and didn't really react in time. But Romero is through fairly cleanly, up a place.
Yeah, a little bit of contact, no major damage or spinning, I believe. So always good to see some tight racing. All right, let's take a look back at the front. Yeah, Kwitniewski still sticking with Ballister, and Pepo de la Heras is losing out a little bit, but not about a 10th lap at the moment. And Marc Perez also keeping up with him, so it's good to see that Marc has found his rhythm, got some good race pace going on here. Maybe can look to get past Peppo, maybe even challenge Kwidniewski later in this race. Of course, still 10 laps remaining in this race, so
yeah, we're coming to the end of lap 4, of course, of 14 laps. Notice Adria Perez, of course, got spun earlier by, I believe it was Siggy who tapped him at the rear. He's still down in 10th. He's not really made back the progress that perhaps his pace would have suggested he would have been able to do. Still stuck behind Sanchez, and it makes me wonder if maybe he took some damage there. Perhaps not anything too major, of course, because his lap times have been stable, but he doesn't seem to, as we see Sanchez almost trying to move there on Borges for 8th and backing out there at the last minute at turn 1. But yeah, I thought that Perez would have had a little chance at Sanchez here, but yeah, it might have to take a few laps to set up a move. There's a train forming behind Dalmau in 5th though, that's for sure, because Marc Perez is definitely with the lead pack and pulling away from him.
Yep.
You see Kvitniewski is set best lap actually, 141.743. Only slightly faster than Balesta though, so it's very close between the two of them.
Alright, so guys just getting in their places at the moment. Looking to maybe make a move, someone.
Yeah, I think the spread of the field is about, in total, around about 20 seconds or so. It seems Jem Cardenas is the guy at the rear, and he's about 2 seconds off of Fernandez in front of him. So it's actually still, all things considered, pretty tight between everyone. But the gaps are starting to spread a little bit in certain sections where someone's being bottlenecked up behind another slower driver. Well, driver setting slower lap times or whatever. There's a train behind Dalmau, and a train behind is that Gerardo in 11th.
Yeah, so let's see who's going to be the quickest in these trains. I mean, everybody in that train, or at least almost everybody, is going to have some slipstream, so it's more
going to
difficult
really,
for the
I think,
guys
defensive.
behind.
It's going to call for a lot of defensive driving here. We could see a couple of guys weaving on the straight to try and defend if they're really desperate, but we might see one or two trying to just go in the middle of the road and make sure that you have to go either side of me now, that sort of thing, in the braking zone.
Yeah.
But
Ayos Luis is getting really close to the back of Javier Cavero at
that's
the
the battle
moment.
for 12th place. It goes Cavero and Luis. Luis. I'm really not sure about that, but yes, it is Luis. Yes, okay. So yeah, Cavero in the bright green car there, really being closed in on by Luis in the midnight blue, number 14 car. And of course they're in the train just behind Gerardo, and I wonder if yes, and I think it was Luis and Cavero were in the second semi-final as well, and I think it was I don't remember, did Cavero or Luis? It was Luis who lost out on 10th place near the end, I think. I believe it wasn't to Cavero, but it was to someone else, and Cavero also lost out near the end, so both of these guys are maybe looking slightly to make amends for that, as Cavero goes a little wide into Parabolica and Senna, giving Luis a little sniff, perhaps putting him into the slipstream of that bright green car.
See if he can do something coming into turn 1.
Yeah. It looks like he's not quite close enough, I don't think, unless he goes really late on the brakes. Oh, he's moving in the mirrors though, letting him know he's there. But he has to back out ultimately and maybe lose a bit of time there. Yeah, I think maybe Luis would have been better just sticking in behind him, keeping close throughout the next section, turn 2, turn 3. But anyway, it looks like that situation stays the same for another lap. And just ahead is actually closing up a bit as well, with Adria Perez finally closing in a bit on Sanchez and Borges for 8th.
Yeah, we know Adria Perez is quicker than these guys in front of him, so let's see if he can make some action happen here. Of course, let's hope no incidents happen with that. So just sliding a bit wide there, that allows Perez to close in even more. Really close to that rear bumper of him now.
Right now, we're just about to reach half distance the end of lap 7 then, with Bless leading still by, I think, just under half a second over Kvyatnitsky, so he's keeping him honest. Oh, look how deep Sanchez went there. And that's really going to allow Perez to take advantage. He's going to try around the outside. That's going to become the inside for the S's, but it will become the outside again. Oh, he cuts over the curb. Oh, and Perez really having to back out there a little bit.
Yeah, Perez almost on 2 wheels there out of the S's.
Yeah, but he's still got some good momentum here. Oh, clobbering up the curb there. But he's still got a little bit more speed, I think, perhaps than Sanchez ahead of him. And Borges is, of course, broken away because of these two fighting each other a little bit. Oh, Sanchez really late on the brakes there, and maybe that's going to allow Perez to close in slightly.
Yeah, it seems that Sanchez is a little bit cracking under the pressure from Perez.
Ooh, again. He's braking quite early, I've noticed, Sanchez, compared to Perez. And so I definitely feel Perez getting frustrated and almost losing it there. Oh, but he takes the inside there almost unintentionally because Sanchez brakes so early. He punted him wide. But Sanchez does get a slightly better run on the outside into Parabolica Interior. Can Perez hold the inside here? Let's see how this pans out. They don't want to hit each other again. Sanchez already a little bit annoyed. He gives a little tap at the rear, but Perez is through into 9th place.
Nice racing there. A little bit of contact made, but I don't think it was too heavy. And Perez now is going to be looking forward
Perez
again.
going wide again and almost letting Sanchez get a sniff back through again, but yeah, Perez he's been there before. He's not going to let that happen again.
Yeah.
Or I say that. They go into the chicane and he goes wide again, so yeah, I think Perez is a little bit spooked by how early Sanchez braked there. But thankfully, I think it wasn't intentional there. You could definitely tell Perez got caught out a little bit because he was weaving like, oh whoa, like really surprised.
I just heard from race direction that Perez, I believe, has to give the place back to Sanchez.
Okay, so they are ruling that even if it wasn't deliberate, it unfairly. Yeah, he's letting him through here at the end of the straight, perhaps. Yeah, here we go. He's lifted off just a little bit. Why are they racing from the position? Yeah, he has there. It goes very wide there. That's pretty clear. Yeah, but so they're free to continue the race now without any steward intervention, unless they hit each other again, of course, into the same section. And is Perez going to get a good go here into turn 3? He clobbers the curb. But
on the limit there.
Sanchez holds the line. Yes, 2 wheels off. Oh, Sanchez taps again a little bit. But he's just trying to take... It looked like Sanchez was just trying to take the racing line there. And Perez is going to run out of road here. He just backs off in time. And Perez really... This isn't really what Perez had in mind, is it? No.
No, he just wanted to get past and get back to the guys in front as quick as possible. I mean, the gap between him and Kevin Siggy, for example, is already over 7 seconds now.
Yeah.
Not what he wanted.
And that goes still just under halfway. Still 6 laps left to go. So it's recoverable for Andrea Perez at this point to maybe get into the top 8 or so. But as he tries to... Oh, is he going to do a late move in the inside at the chicane? It looked like Sanchez defended really well there.
Does the switchback though. Oh, yeah, wow, great move there from Perez. Let's see if I can keep it together. There. Through the S's around the outside, maybe.
This is going to require some cooperation from Sanchez, and he's now on the outside and behind, so Perez is through.
Yeah, but the slipstream for Sanchez is going to be good here down the straight.
Yes, but I think Perez is slightly better on acceleration.
Let's see.
Sanchez, it may try a feint to the inside at the very least. He goes... Perez defends the inside now, and so Sanchez is going to have to go the long way around. Here we go. They approach the braking zone. Perez brakes early. Sanchez brakes late. Oh, but he doesn't quite have enough overlap, does he? Let's see what happens into turn 2. Perez has only got a wheel alongside. Oh, but Sanchez goes very wide onto the wheel on the grass there. And Perez takes 9th place fairly this time. And while they've been battling, Juan Gerardo is closed right in up on them. And he's right on the bumper of Sanchez. This could get very tasty. Juan Gerardo did a lot of overtakes in his semi-final earlier yesterday. And he's not got Lois behind him to bother him too much, so he's free to really try and move here. without worrying about losing a position.
Yeah.
He's going to go for it on Sanchez to get into the top 10. Of course, he qualified 10th. He's lost out somewhere. Oh, Perez goes wide into Parabolica Interior, and Sanchez on the inside now. But Perez, it's going to become the inside again for this next corner, Rahelia. Oh, and they almost touch wheels again. These two are not going to be on each other's Christmas cards list at the end of the year, I don't think, after this.
No, they are really battling it out heavily here.
Yeah, they're really not giving each other any corner at all as they bump the tyre barrier into... They both hit it into the Gancho chicane. And Gerardo really just sticking back and thinking, yeah, this is a bit tasty. I'll wait and see if these two run into each other again. Both of them. 2 for 1 special offer.
Yeah, taking it careful there. Probably the best way to go. Don't want to get yourself mixed up in something.
Yeah, and Gerardo doesn't quite have the same pace as both of them when they're running in clear air, particularly Adria Perez, but when they're fighting each other, that's what gives Gerardo a chance. He gets a little bit of slipstream on Sanchez. Yep. I don't think he's going to try and move, or he breaks very late, gets a wheel alongside, has to back out there, and Sanchez had to go very late to defend, and that's put him on the back foot here. Gerardo thinking again about going up the inside at turn 2, but once again deciding that discretion is the better part of valor. Wait, his time's going to come. He just has to make sure he gets the right opportunity. 4 laps left to go, including this one. A reminder of the gap up front. It is Billester just about a second or so, 7/10 I think, behind the head of Kvitnitsky rather. Then they've dropped. They both dropped De La Harris in 3rd. Perez still quite close to De La Harris in 4th. Then it's Dalmau, who's several seconds behind both of them in 5th. Still holding up Pablo Lopez, and Kevin Siggy quite close behind Lopez actually. Maybe Kevin Siggy could try and move before the end. Then it's Borges in 8th, pretty much on his own some. Then we have Adria Perez, Celestino Sanchez, and Gerardo, who's still all over the back of Sanchez. Although Gerardo makes a mistake now, and this has allowed Lois. It looks like Sanchez is now causing a bit of a train here, because Lois is now in a position to attack Gerardo. We've had Cavero there as well, and Gonzalez, but Otero a little bit further back behind. So yeah, really a 4-way battle here, just for 10th place. And Sanchez has already got a lot of pressure on him now. I mean, I didn't quite expect him to hold off Perez for as long as he has, but yeah, Gerardo could still be a big challenge here. Into turn 1, no one quite close enough to make the move. Again, Sanchez seems to take that wider line than anyone, and it seems to kind of work for him in a way, because he's braking so late, no one seems to be able to be close enough to try the move into turn 2. But under braking, Sanchez is definitely weak. As you can see, Perez inching away from him, corner after corner. Pardon me. So Gerardo really under. It's do or die really. He's got 2 laps after this one in which to do it. Oh, is Siggy making a move on
Pablo Lopez.
Yeah. So let's switch to that fight. How about you watch that fight and I'll watch the one behind?
I will, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin Siggy, he's right behind Pablo Lopez and really trying to find a spot to get past through the chicane now.
Gerardo feints to the inside, but Sanchez holds him off into Ohilia. And again, really closing up into the chicane. Can he get the switchback and undercut Sanchez? Oh, he's got a wheel alongside into the S's, but he's going to be on the outside. Can he hold it through? Oh, he goes very wide there. And lets Sanchez take the line into Parabolica and center. But, oh, look at this. He's got so much better speed, Gerardo. Through the corner before they even exited it. And he's going to take him before they even get to the start-finish line for the penultimate lap here. Yes, he is. He's on the inside, and he's through. So Gerardo into 10th.
Sanchez maybe.
But is he going to outbrake him? No, Sanchez thinks better of that. Actually, no, he taps him. Gives him a little tap on his way, as if to say, damn you, you got me there. But he doesn't quite spin him out or do anything too dirty there. So I doubt the stewards will intervene. And now Celestino Sanchez has got to keep Lois behind him. for the rest of the race, which isn't long. It's this lap and one more. Meanwhile, Balesta's still leading out front, I believe, by, let me check the timing screen, since my phone has just gone to screensaver. Yes, 1.2 at least. He's about 1.2 seconds ahead of Balesta, I think.
Oh, Kevin Siggy in 7th position, outbraking himself massively, almost running into the back of Pablo Lopez in front. Oh, so losing a lot of time there.
Yeah, so Siggy may not have a chance before the end of the race to get into 6th place.
Yeah, Miguel Balesta is about to start the last lap of this race, coming out of the Parabolica Ayrton Senna now.
Meanwhile, Sanchez really under pressure here from Lois into the chicane. But Lois really, again, he's going to have to make the similar kind of move to the one Gerardo did as they go into the last corner. Yeah, this is one more lap then, is it?
Yeah, I'm looking at the moment at Marc Perez in 4th position. He is really putting some pressure on Pepo de la Heras for that last podium position.
Yes, De La Heras may not be as cushy in the podium as we thought. Lois has got a little bit of a run onto the main straight here. This could be the last chance he gets to make a move into turn 1. Here we go. Oh, he just has to back out there. I think Sanchez has done enough here. But he just has to hold on to that 11th place for the rest of this lap.
Marc Perez was side by side for a moment there through the first couple of corners.
Yeah, they're still very close to each other up in that battle for 3rd. Oh, is Marc Perez going to make the move down the inside in the Parabolica interior? He bumps into Pepo de la Heras, puts Pepo on the outside. And Pepo knows he's held the podium the entire race, and Marc Perez has got him right at the end. Is he going to be able to counter-attack? No, he breaks early into Orhelia. It looks like he's conceded the position, and Marc Perez has made it through onto the podium. A really great recovery by Marc Perez there.
Yeah, and Miguel Balesta now coming through the S's, about to finish this race in 1st place. Controlled the pace from the front, and yeah, great driving from him.
Yep, so the first final in Estoril will go to Balesta, but meanwhile the battle for 11th is still raging on with Lois still trying to get past Sanchez. And he almost had a go there. Oh, and is Cavera going to get in on this too? It's a freeway battle here. Lois gets a great run out the chicane. He's alongside Sanchez. Sanchez defends. Oh, and Cavera has another look here. Oh, this could really end very dramatically through the last corner. Lois gives everything he's got. Oh, he's going to go on the gravel going that wide. Oh, but he avoids doing that.
Drag race to the line now.
He's not got enough road. He's not got enough road to catch him.
Nope.
Cavero's still right behind as well. They all finish right together. But they all maintain the same positions then. So let's look through the finishing order as the last couple of guys come across the line. No retirements, I don't think. Everyone's still running. Just 4 drivers left at the back. So, but Leicester wins. Kvyatniewski 2nd. Marc Perez 3rd. Pepo de la Heras 4th. Just missing out at the end. Cruelly denied by that sting in the tail. Louis Dalmau in 5th. Holding off Pablo Lopez in 6th. Kevin Siggy 7th. Jairo Borges 8th. Andrea Perez making up to 9th in the end, but he will still be disappointed with being taken out on that first lap. Juan Gerardo makes it up to 10th, and remember, Juan Gerardo is going to get the reverse group pole for race 2. So reverse top 10 rather, reverse qualifying top 10, as we see tyre barrier in the middle of the track that Juan Carlos Ramiro goes straight into. I think he's just finished though and is on his in lap back to the pits. But anyway, so Gerardo 10th, Celestino Sanchez just 11th from Lois and Cavero, who are really pushing him for all he was worth. Then it's Roberto Gonzalez 14th, Ricardo Otero 15th, Victor Rula 16th, Jose Rosell in 17th, Juan Carlos Ramiro 18th, J.M. Cardenas 19th, and last, Jose M. Fernandez in 20th. And Kvyatniewski got the fastest lap still with the 1 minute 41.743. Very close to qualifying pace, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to see
actually, about half a second off the qualifying pole time at least. But still very competitive lap times. And they all go through to the field, into the pit lane now. And yeah, so after a lot of drama actually there for a race 1, to be fair. the focus now shifts to race 2.
Yeah, some really great racing. I mean, all over the field.
Yeah, you didn't
For
really know
third
where to look
position.
towards the end
Yeah.
there, and you could tell definitely when the tyres were wearing out, that was when the pressure was really on the guys who were defending position, who maybe had used tyres up a bit earlier in the earlier stages of the race to get ahead. They were now desperately trying to maintain position, and so Ballesta and Kwiatkowski 10th and 9th for the race 2, so they're going to have a real tough job to make it through the field, of course. Saw how difficult it is to overtake unless you. Adria Perez, even though he was faster, he only really managed to get through towards the end there, past Sanchez. And with the faster drivers, it could be even more difficult. I fancy Juan Gerardo's chances of finishing on the podium from pole, although of course he's still got the likes of Borges and Siggy to deal with. But yeah, I think the thing that stands out there is Mark Perez getting past Del Harris at the end. You saw how he set that move up, didn't you? I was watching the battle just behind for 11th. So how did he set the move up?
Yeah, he was looking quite a bit already on the rear of Pablo de la Harris, just trying to spot a position where he can get past, and eventually he just made the move in the last lap. Great stuff from Marc Perez. Of course, he is the championship leader, so he needed those points to keep in the lead, especially with Christian and Miguel right in front of him.
Looking to. It definitely looks like Marc Perez is still in the lead for now before this final race, I think, with the points that he scored, although getting only 1 from qualifying may go against him slightly, but the gap is closed at the front, definitely, with Kwiatkowski will definitely be right on his tail. I think Ballesta is still a few points behind, having missed a race.
Yeah.
Effectively. Remember, it's not like Formula 2 where the reverse grid race is worth less points. They're both worth about the same points. I think 35 for a win. And you wait now. I think there will be a small warm up before race 2, so we'll have plenty of time to chew the fat if we so wish over race 1.
Yeah, well, is it okay if I go for a real quick toilet break?
No, absolutely. I think I may stop talking for a bit now too. I'm a bit exhausted. I want to get my breath back for race 2.
Yeah,
We'll just take a
right back.
We'll just take a short break. I believe we'll still leave the stream running just so you can see little bits of action going on right now. But I'm going to stop talking for a bit and we'll reintroduce the broadcast when we're ready for race 2. So, we'll take a short break now. See you soon. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the León Cupra Eurocup online at Estoril. We just had race 1, which Miguel Balesta won, and so we're waiting for race 2 and the grid to be organised and formed up. But some dramatic action in race 1. We just had a little bit of a break to digest some of it, so it should be even more dramatic in race 2, surely, for the reverse grid.
Yeah, of course. I mean, then the quicker guys are going to be further down and they need to work their way up. Make a little bit more effort. I mean, no offense, of course, but Miguel just had to control the pace on the front. He didn't have too much pressure from behind. Of course, that's not easy at all, but he didn't have to fight his way through. And now he's going to have to fight his way through to try and get as much points as possible. And the same is, of course, for Christian Kwiatkowski. Marc Perez will be starting in front of them now, of course, because of the reverse grid. So let's see what Marc Perez can do now. If he can keep those guys behind him and get more points.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a double for Pepe de Harris, because not only does he get pipped at the end by Marc Perez, but he doesn't even have the luxury of starting in front of him again for race 2, because of course he qualified behind him and the grid's reversed. Anyway, I'm just going to relaunch the game because I just got I just alt-tabbed it back to the desktop, forgetting that crashes the game basically. So yeah. Hopefully that doesn't create too many problems with me just rejoining to spectate.
So yeah,
but anyway,
not many drivers driving in the warm-up session at the moment. I guess most drivers just taking a little break after the action-packed race 1. Just maybe grabbing a glass
remember
of water.
It's the same distance race 2 as well, of course, 14 laps. So it may not seem much, but it does take a lot out of these guys, I think, the way they drive, certainly. Yeah,
I mean, you have to be concentrated 100% all of the time. Need to make sure you hit those apexes, hit those brakes at the right moment. Don't make any mistakes.
Make sure you have the bathroom break beforehand as well, as you so prudently have shown us. But yeah, no one disconnected yet. All 20 drivers still in, which is great to see. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of some interesting little subplot in the race to look out for. But I think we've covered most of it. Do you think Kwiatkowski defending from Balesta will have a better chance? I reckon he will, to be honest. Well, obviously he'll have a better chance, but I think he'll be able to finish ahead of him and they'll both probably make progress up the field with some of the slow drivers ahead. It should make it a little bit more. The moves are going to happen a bit more quickly, I think, especially at the start, but perhaps throughout. So some of them are going to hold on for a while, and then their tyres are just going to let go at the end, I think.
Yeah,
it could be really crucial just to maybe, especially for the front runners, they're pros, they've done this before, they know just need to keep their tyres fresh and throughout the first couple of laps and make moves where they can, and then only at the end, when they've got a really big tyre life advantage maybe on the guys who just pushed throughout and suddenly burnt them out, maybe they can take advantage then. Pardon me, but I just burped, sorry. But
yeah, I believe we're about to move to the race again. So let's get ready for some action again.
Absolutely. Race 2 is about to begin. You just need to wait for the server to tick over first, of course.
Yep. Here we go.
Yep.
So it's, of course, Juan Jurado starting on that pole position this race. Yao Borges right behind him.
I can't remember if Jurado started on pole before or not. I think he might have. Was it him or I can't remember who it was at Silverstone, but it was definitely someone in the sort of that kind of group, you know, that's just outside at the bottom order of the top 10, which is, you know, the likes of Jurado, Borges, Sanchez, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jurado definitely got a great chance here. Borges just behind, also a reverse grid race winner from Barcelona, of course. Pablo Lopez, former championship leader, he could really take advantage too, so it could be very open at the front. Louis Dalmal, we haven't seen the best of Louis Dalmal yet. He starts fifth, as he qualified, of course, before, because when you start fifth, you're in the middle, so it doesn't make much difference whether the top 10 are reversed or done. Then Adria Perez sixth. Kevin Siggy in fifth, rather. Reverse good run at Silverstone. Adria Perez sixth. Mark Perez seventh. Herbert de la Harris 8th, Christian Kwiatkowski 9th, Miguel Balesta 10th, and that's our reverse top 10, of course. Then we have Celestino Sanchez in 11th as the warm-up lap begins, and the cars all set off warming up their tyres. Celestino Sanchez 11th, Lois in 12th, Batero 13th, Gonzalez 14th, Cabrero 15th, Fernandez 16th, Cardenas 17th, Irula 18th, Juan Carlos Romero 19th, and Rosil at the back once again. So how is I wonder how, just privately, how fast Gerardo is taking this warm-up lap compared to Balesta. I think a little bit slow, because you can see Borges still right behind him.
Yeah. Taking it slow at the moment. Maybe taking his time to prepare himself mentally. Of course, it's pretty nerve-wracking to be in front of a pack, knowing that there are a couple of really quick guys. Pablo de la Heras, Christian Kwiatkowski, Marc Perez, Miguel Balesta right behind you, trying to move their way up. Let's see if he can keep the pressure.
This is a big opportunity for Gerardo, as I was saying. It's really just a because we've seen him make up places particularly in reverse grid races. They seem to play to Gerardo's strengths, where he's particularly good at sort of making up places and keeping them and not making mistakes. Whereas in the first grid race, he's out and out speed isn't the best. I think it's fair to say, but he's definitely got good racecraft. But of course, in order to really win this championship, you need a combination of speed, racecraft, intelligence, all the rest of the aspects that make up a really competitive racing driver.
Yeah.
Of course, Gerardo's still learning, I think. He's definitely got better as the races have gone on, and this is his real chance to maybe surprise us all and finish on that podium, but it's not going to be easy at all.
Yeah, definitely not. Now coming through the last corner, about to grit himself into his grid slot.
Yeah, that pole position slot is waiting for him. Oh, as we see Borges actually try and jump him there very briefly.
He's closing up the pack quite a bit.
Like, if he's Borges gone back in position now, so I think Borges is rehearsing for the first corner that he thinks is going to happen.
Gerardo warming up those tires, making sure.
Yeah, when you start on pole and you can see a guy alongside you on the warm-up lap, that's just a little bit of mind games, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, in they slot, and we'll have to wait for the grid to form up. But it shouldn't take too long.
Gerardo not lining up as aggressively as Balesta did last race. So let's see if he can get that good run.
Borges is a little bit further forward in his slot than Gerardo, actually. So it seems to me like
just on the limit there.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Lights going out, and the reverse grid race is about to begin now. And Gerardo makes a decent getaway.
Yeah, but
the second phase of the start going to be like? I think Borges
right
is going to have to make a move. It's going to get very crowded into turn one. Here goes. Borges down the inside, takes second place, and who's
Lopez
that
as well?
Through? That's Lopez as well. Wow, Lopez made a great start there. And Gerardo down to third, but still on the podium as it stands.
Oh, here we go.
But Dalmau looking like he's going to... Oh, the rear, let's go for Gerardo and Dalmau. They can move, but the leader is being challenged here too. And it looks like Lopez is going to get through down the inside past Borges. So real drama here. As a big collision there.
Dalmau
and Gerardo off. Dalmau off. Dalmau made a move on Gerardo, and it ended really badly for the both of them there. Oh, and Gerardo reverses back on the track and hits someone else. Real carnage here. Who was that who lost out? It was Irula, who just got taken out there. So really bad luck for Irula, and it looks like Gerardo, Irula, and Dalmau is retired. So really unlucky for him. Let's go back and look at the front while the order is there. As you see Dalmau just laying forlorn by the side of the circuit. That was a decent chance to get on the podium there if that hadn't happened. And really Gerardo maybe Gerardo and the Damo, that incident will be investigated, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it was very
Something also happened to Marc Perez. I mean, Pablo De La Heras, Kwidniewski are all up to 5th and 6th place already.
Yes, Kwidniewski made a very good start. He's already passed Lois into 6th, but Lester's still down in 9th behind Marc Perez. So, yes, Kwidniewski really taking advantage on this first lap of all that chaos. Lopez still leading though by a couple of attempts over Borges. Then it's Kevin Siggy in 3rd. So we've got all the reverse grid masters up the front, it seems.
Perez
and then Andrew Perez is 4th. Pepe De La Heras is 5th. Oh, a little bit of drama at the back. Someone almost got pushed out wide there. Did you see who that was?
Yeah, Luis got a little tap, I believe, from Marc Perez.
Yeah.
Lost him the position now.
And Sanchez going right onto the grass and gravel, but not losing any positions. Thankfully, still in the top 10, just from Ricardo Otero behind. But that puts Balesterbrew into 8th now, just behind Marc Perez and Christian Kwidniewski as well. So those are the 3 guys fighting for the championship, and they've got Pepe De La Heras in 5th ahead of them. So it could get very tasty. As you see, just in front, looks like Adria Perez, Kevin Siggy, and Borges came to close that, which has helped Lopez pull out a little bit of a gap now. It's just what he needed. As Lopez, of course, got taken out in the reverse grid race at Silverstone, so yes, a really good performance here is going to set him right back into the title hunt. And look, so close. All 3 of them, 2nd to 4th, right close together. It's going to be the small margins that decide this battle, I think. And of course, they can't say too comfortable because Pepe De La Heras is going to bear down on them in the second too. Tie barrier at the S's goes flying there, and so end of lap 2, I think, or is this the start of lap? Yeah, end of lap 2, start of lap 3. Pablo Lopez leads by
just under a second.
Yeah, 9 tenths.
Let's see how Peppo and Kwidniewski can close into this pack. Just over a second behind them now.
Kwidniewski gets past Peppo before they close in.
Yep.
And so it works out. I also wouldn't bet against Balester getting past Marc Perez here if he gets half a chance. They've both kind of dropped Lois in 9th, and then it's Sanchez and Otero. He battles lower down the order. Looks like Irula retired in the end from the damage as well, but Ran Gerardo is still hanging in there, setting not the greatest pace. He's still down there in the back.
Perez looking on the inside of Kevin Siggy.
Yes, into turn 4.
Kevin seems to be able to keep him behind so far, but for how long is he able to do that?
They all hit the tyre barrier. That's going in the middle of the circuit. I think probably another obstacle for those guys. Into the chicane. Oof. Kevin Siggy got a good run out there, I thought.
Perez took a little bit of a tighter line through the chicane. Maybe
true.
Gave him a bit of more exit speed, but wasn't
but
really
crucially,
able to
Pepe
use
De La
it.
Heras now just closing the gap slightly as well, I think.
Yeah, I think it's within a second now, so he's about to close in on these guys. Perez maybe starting to look in his rear mirror as well.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to ride on board with Kevin Siggy looking back at Adria Perez behind into turn 1. Ooh. Looked like he was going to make a move there, but he didn't quite have a wheel alongside. Ooh, and really over the grass there for Adria Perez. That seems to be almost a natural line because through turn 2 they go out so wide, as I was saying before the race. And yeah, that's allowed De La Heras to close in a bit now, so the battle is really becoming joined here. And where is Marc Perez? Yeah, as you say, Marc Perez down to 11th now.
Yeah, what happened with him then?
Must have made a mistake.
Right in front or right behind.
I suspect he made a mistake or got pushed off there. That definitely wasn't part of the plan for Marc Perez. He's now got a lot of work to do.
He had an incident with himself, I think. Yeah, clipped the curb a little bit too much and then span around.
Ah, oh dear. Well,
That's not going to help his championship standings at all.
not at all, especially after that great first race. He's kind of undoing his own work, but he's got Otero ahead. Otero, not the easiest driver to overtake, but Marc Perez has got much superior pace, so we'll see how that battle develops. Meanwhile, Lopez still leading. We're going into lap 4 now, or on lap 4 rather, into lap 5. Lopez still leading from Borges, Siggy, Perez, De La Harris, Kvyatnewski, Balesta, Lois, and Sanchez, and Otero. That's the top 10. With Marc Perez just outside it.
Ooh, Borges going really defensive, but Kevin Siggy making the move anyway, pushing
Borges
them a
on
bit
the grass there.
on the grass, and now low.
He's lost several places there. Borges from second down to 5th. Oh, and is this going to let Kvyatnewski in the battle as well? Goes up the inside at turn 3 and makes it through. So one little mistake by Borges trying to keep one position. He has ended up losing about 4 or 5. And that's really going to annoy him. Next behind him, of course, Miguel Balesta, who I imagine is not going to give him any second chances. But yeah, it looks like Adria Perez really fighting to hold on from Kevin Siggy a little bit here. And Pepe de la Harris now in 4th, looking to get on the podium. Yeah, so this could get really tasty. Meanwhile, Marc Perez right on the wheel tracks of Ricardo Otero. He tries down the outside of the Parabolica interior. This isn't going to work, Mark. You need to really... Yeah, you need to cut down inside of him here. Ricardo Otero keeps to the inside, though, for Orhelia. And again, Marc Perez has to go the long way round. Oh, but has he done it here?
No, he overcooked
the tyre barrier into the gravel. Good effort, though, but not quite good enough on this occasion. Just ran out of road there, as you see. Tyre barrier is lying by the side of the track. And Marc Perez undercutting through the chicane, taking a tight line. But it will be the outside for this bit. He backs off.
Oh, Otero makes a mistake, outbrakes himself.
Very bad mistake by Otero. Oh, and he just rejoins behind Perez, thankfully. Carden is too far back to take advantage. Carden is actually doing really well. Didn't he start right near the back, as I recall? And now he's in 12th.
Yeah, he's doing a good job so far.
And Marc Perez back in the top 10. Meanwhile, the battle raging on in the top 7 or so.
Balesta
has been passed by Balesta at turn 1. And Balesta now can catch up to Kvyatnewski. De La Harris in 4th. Siggy still stuck behind Adria Perez. So actually, although Marc Perez had that issue early on, it looks like the way things are being bunched up at the moment, he might still have a chance to get a decent result in the top 7 here if he can get a move on. It's Sanchez next up the road, of course. About 5 seconds ahead. He needs to use all that superior pace now. And Lopez really, this is playing into his hands here a little bit.
Yeah, 2.5 seconds in front.
Yeah,
already.
He's got better pace than Adria Perez. Or showing better pace at the moment, rather.
Yeah, almost.
Adria Perez is too busy defending from Kevin Siggy to worry about that, as we see Pepe de la Harris closing right at the back now. Is Pepe going to get a good enough run out of this last corner?
He's really close to the rear bumper there. Maybe he can do something in the slipstream.
Yeah, here they are, climbing to 120 miles per hour, 130 now over the start-finish line. Is Pepe going to get on the podium here? 140 miles per hour, suddenly braking now. And the wheel isn't quite enough alongside, but he goes for it anyway. Oh, almost spinning Kevin Siggy out. Takes the inside for turn 2. Oh, but Siggy hangs it out, goes into the gravel there.
As well.
Makes the same mistake we saw Borges make, I think. And Kvyatnewski now attacking. Pepe de la Harris tapping the rear wheels there. It's all kicking off. And no doubt Balesta will want some of this too. He's still behind Siggy. So Siggy's lost 2 places in all of this. Still right with Kvyatnewski though. Crucially, Pepe de la Harris onto the podium now, and this is really going to help him in his championship fight with Kvyatnewski and Balesta. If he can keep them behind, and of course, all big chance to get advantage on Marc Perez, of course, who would be fighting with them if he hadn't made that mistake earlier to get too much curb and losing so many places and time. Where is Marc Perez compared to Celestino Sanchez, I wonder? I'm hesitant to look at that battle as Kvyatnitsky is still fighting right with Pepe de la Heras for third place. Yeah, Sanchez making a few mistakes there and allowing Marc Perez to close a second or two to gain there.
Goodness,
Yes, and all is Lopez really pulling away now as well.
Yeah.
Seconds. What are you going to say? Sorry, Felix?
Yeah, Kvyatnitsky not really being able to stick with de la Heras through those last couple of corners.
Yeah, that seemed to be the strong point of de la Heras as well. In qualifying, it seemed. He was able to hook it up consistently. And Kvyatnitsky again going a little wider than Pepe de la Heras, not touching the inside curb at turn 1. But now Kvyatnitsky, I suspect, will be setting up the move, trying to make sure he keeps the distance between himself and de la Heras as small as possible. But of course, both of them now closing on Adria Perez for second. Meanwhile, Kevin Siggy now, although he's still right behind them, it's more of a question of keeping Ballester behind him, which is not an easy task at all. We know how consistent he is, and quick as well.
Ooh, Ballester outbraking himself a little bit, coming into Parabolica. And
yeah,
lost a little bit of time
too much time there. He's still got a decent gap to Borges behind, so... And Borges actually doing quite well to hang in there after losing second place earlier. This fight is going to rage on, isn't it, throughout the remaining half of the race. 7 laps in. Actually on lap 8 rather, so only 6 laps to go, I think, after this one.
Yep, indeed. So it's going to be crucial how these
I think it's going to be very difficult for Miguel Ballester to get on the podium, but he may well have a decent chance of getting past Kevin Siggy.
Yeah.
And all the while, Pepe closing on Adria Perez, and Lopez really not being troubled up front at all.
Also, of course, it's going to be a factor of tire wear now as the end of the race is coming. Who managed their tires the best through this battling, of course.
Yes, and Marc Perez still catching Celestino Sanchez, but not quite quick enough, I don't think. He's still about a second down. He might get a chance of a move towards the end, but I suspect Marc Perez has really just been saving his tyres after he's off and thinking about the end of the race. It's really damage limitation for Marc Perez right now. Voice still holding on in 8th, which is probably a best result we've seen him in so far. I wonder if Pepe de la Heras can get past Adria Perez quickly enough, whether he fancies a chance of chasing down Lopez, as we see it very wide by Adria Perez approaching the Gancho chicane. Again, high the line slightly by Pepe de la Heras. And Kevin Siggy actually really under pressure from Ballester now in 5th. And Ballester gets a great run out of the last corner. So does Siggy. And Kevin Siggy already defending, moving to the inside here down the main straight. How hard is he going to defend this one from Ballester? Is Ballester going to launch to the inside now as Siggy moves back to the outside? Here we go. How deep will Ballester go? He doesn't want to make too much contact with Siggy. Siggy gives him the room. But Ballester is going to come through into turn 2. Yep, neither of them go wide into ground. We see battle up further up ahead. Pepe de la Heras finally getting down the inside of Perez, and Kvyatnitsky trying to follow through. This is the battle for second place. Adria Perez is going to have the inside here. Ooh, he almost hits Pepe de la Heras, but Pepe keeps his foot in. The outside becomes the inside for the next few corners, and Pepe's got just enough run to get ahead before Parabolica Interior. But what is Christian Kvyatnitsky going to do? He's on the outside, but Perez retaking second place down the inside. Oh, but Pepe de la Hera is still right with him.
And you can see Kwiatkowski just trying to find a place to get past Perez.
This is brilliant racing here. Pepe, Perez brakes late. Pepe has to really hold it out here. Oh, they bang wheels. Oh, Perez is in the gravel. Is Kwiatkowski going to get by Perez here and onto the podium? Oh, and Kwiatkowski brakes late too. Perez messes up and it's down to fourth.
Yeah, Perez maybe.
And Balesta did get by Segui, of course, so he is next in line to get into fourth place here and past Adria Perez. And now, Kwiatkowski and Pepe de la Hera have got a big decision to make. Are they going to fight over second place with 5 laps, even less than that actually, 4 laps now remaining? Or are they going to work together maybe a little bit to close down on Lopez and see if they can fight for the win? Oh, no chance. Kwiatkowski is going to take that second place any day of the week. But not this day, apparently, as he backs off into turn 1.
Yeah, and Balesta now also getting close to Perez.
Balesta must be getting frustrated here because he knows if he can get past Perez, there's a chance of a podium here. Because it looks like De La Hera is now starting to hold them up. Segui actually starting to come back into it too.
Pepe maybe wasn't as conservative on his tires. Maybe cooked them a little bit too much. I mean, only
I think
3.5 laps remaining now.
Yeah, Adria Perez really not managing this race quite as well as he did the first race. Marc Perez still stuck behind Celestino Sanchez down in 9th and 10th.
Oh, here we go,
Balesta now is about to make a move down the inside of Perez. He's going to have to go down Adria's outside as up ahead Kwiatkowski still battling at bumping his way, but still stuck behind. And Balesta now finds himself stranded on the outside really and not able to complete the move on Perez. Will he get another chance here? Segui waiting in the wings here. Suddenly back in this fight. As is actually Hera Borges. Not too far behind either. So this could really go either way. As we see up ahead. Oh, Kwiatkowski really pushing De La Hera here for second place. Lopez nearly he's nearly the whole length of the main straight ahead of De La Hera now. He's having to defend really hard here. They're both down the inside. Kwiatkowski behind him. Kwiatkowski, is he going to dive here? No, he's not going to take the dive, but he locks up heavily. Just avoiding De La Hera in time there. And Adria Perez gets a bad run out of turn 1, and Balesta down past him into turn 2. And is Segui going to take advantage as well? Balesta goes a little wide. Perez can fight back into turn 3, but meanwhile ahead, Kwiatkowski has got by Pepe de la Hera by diving inside at turn 3. Is De La Hera going to get the inside at turn 2? They bump into each other, and De La Hera keeps the position by keeping down that inside into VIP curve.
Yeah, Segui now also side by side with Perez.
Into 4th place, and Segui and Perez still fighting it out here. Segui's going to have the inside into interior Parabolica. But wow, great, aggressive but really good driving by Pepe de la Hera to keep in second place there against immense pressure from Kwiatkowski. As Segui, Perez really fighting hard here, but I think Segui's got the inside. Oh, 5th place. How's this going to work out?
Race direction, by the way, just saying that Peppo needs to give back the position to Christian. So
yes, Kevin Segui's going to get closer. He bumps right into him, and through goes Borges past Segui. So that really ended badly. Borges gets tagged by Segui at the back and into the barrier almost. He just avoided it. He goes right through the gravel, no doubt furious there by being caught by Segui. I think it was just maybe a little bit of a connection problem because I don't think Segui tagged him deliberately there. It was more sort of a mistake forced by the aborted move on Perez. But yes, and I believe Peppo's given the place back to Kwiatkowski, as you said. And it seems to be what we saw earlier with the bumping at turn 4, resulting in a penalty for Adria Perez and Race 1. And that'll be annoying because I felt that was on the limit by Peppo, but I don't think he deliberately barged him out the way. I think he just sort of was trying to hold his line and end up getting a little bit too close there. But of course, this allows in the closing 2 laps now Balesta to close in. We've only got one more lap left after this one. Pablo Lopez still comfortably leading out front. And Mark Perez somewhere in there got by Celestino Sanchez for 9th. So that's another couple of points for him. Lois is actually closing a bit on Borges after Borges got really pushed into the gravel there. Siggy still fighting with Perez. Oh, it's really been all action this race, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely, especially here in the top 6. Let's see if Ballester can maybe get that last podium position. I think he will be fighting. Well,
yes, but Pablo Harris is going to defend for all he's got. Oh, Ballester, the rear end, let's go. A complete lack of composure there, but he just gets composed up again.
Yeah, his tyres won't be liking that as well.
Yeah, it could be a sign that his tyres are now starting to feel the pain of this race. Yeah. We saw it with Adria Perez, and I think Kevin Siggy now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Adria really wearing his tyres a lot more than Siggy, and I think Siggy might have a little chance here at 5th place on the main straight. Perez defending down the inside. Oh, I doesn't squeeze him in the pit wall. But Siggy may have to go the long way around. Here we go, he makes his decision. Brakes early. Perez brakes late. He tries to cut underneath him. Oh, bumps him in the rear. Now he's again on the outside. That's not ideal for Siggy. He's just going to have to... Oh, but he switches down to the inside through turn 2 into turn 3. Siggy has maybe got that 5th place. And he has. There we go. Into turn 3. Wow, real strategic stuff by Kevin Siggy there. Really didn't do anything silly and just about holding on now.
Yeah, great racing from him.
Yeah,
so last lap, last couple of corners now.
Yes, I don't think Lois is going to be able to catch Borges for 7th, but still a good drive by Lois to keep in that top 10. We saw Gerardo mess up, we saw Borges run into trouble, we saw all sorts of incidents and accidents, but Pablo Lopez, through it all, is going to be the victor here for the last few corners. Going through the chicane, he taps the tyre barrier, but it doesn't matter. He's well on his way ahead of Kwiatkowski, who's not got the time to catch back up. And De La Harris is probably going to be able to hold off Ballester there as well for 3rd. So, through the last corner now, comes Pablo Lopez. He crosses the line soon. He's weaving already. Oh, be careful. You don't want to hit the barriers, Pablo. He's got enough lead to do it. And a great drive by Pablo Lopez. He wins the reverse grid race in Estoril. If I'm very much mistaken, the winner of the meeting will be the man just behind him, Christian Kwiatkowski, 2nd in both races. Holds up Pablo Harris, and we've got Ballester 4th. Kevin Siggy will be 5th.
Great drive
Andrea
from
Perez 6th. From here, Borges, and here is Lois. It looked like Andrea Perez lost a little time there, but still kept position. Mark Perez in 9th. A missed opportunity for him, I feel. Celestino Sanchez 10th. Roberto Gonzalez 11th. Ricardo Otero just about holds up JM Cardenas. They were having a good little battle there at the end. Cardenas didn't keep that 12th place in the end. But Javier Cavero in 14th. Juan Carlos Ramiro, Jose Roussel and Juan Gerardo all close together. Gerardo still finishing despite that awful mistake at the beginning. I would say it was a racing incident really. They sort of tagged each other, him and Dalmau. And it's a shame for Dalmau. I think he could have finished quite high as well without that. But Juan Gerardo still finishing despite the damage, which I think is about in its own way. OCM Fernandez in 18th, so he wasn't last in the end, Gerardo. Victor Rula 19th, and Louis Dalmau 20th, of course. Neither of them finishing due to accident damage. And Victor Rula, an innocent victim, really, as we see Pablo Lopez using up the last of those tyres. And overjoyed, look at him just with that victory. And bumping into another tyre barrier.
Wow. His start was just so amazing. He almost did it all in the first lap, and then he just needed to control that pace in front. Yeah, great race from him, and well deserved.
Yes, it was beautiful management by Lopez, and I wonder it's going to do his championship a world of good. So it didn't seem like it seemed Ballester won race 1, Pablo Lopez won race 2, but it looks like overall the winner of the meeting was Kwiatkowski, I think.
Yeah, I think that's
2 second places, and I think he did well. I feel a little bit sorry for De La Harris having to give up position, but I still think that Kwiatkowski drove well to force De La Harris into where he had to sort of bump into him on the inside. Maybe not intentionally, but but still. Yeah, a lot to talk about there to digest from all that action. But
Yeah, surely.
But yeah, just a reminder, as the winner of the meeting, I believe Kvitnicki is going to get a. He's going to get the jacket, of course, the León jacket, and he'll have his choice of whether he goes for the Playseat L33T or the Playseat Revolution. So already he's coming home with a prize. He, of course, won the León Eurocup last year and got to drive a real car and endurance race with Jordi Genet, which they won their class, of course. So, so yeah, Kvitnicki getting all the prizes at the moment, but none of the wins, sadly. Just missing out. But yeah, I'm sure that's not the last we've heard of him. We'll definitely see him back for the next round, which, unless I'm very much mistaken, is Austria, I believe. Please tell me it's Austria. Let's look at the main page again, and just for the date very quickly.
Spa-Francorchamps, actually.
Oh, it's Spa, not Austria. I got completely mixed up there. Austria's the last round. I keep remembering when the last round is, but yes, and that will be. We have a summer break now. We won't be back until we won't be seeing hot laps until September 2nd to the 10th. We'll of course have our 2 races on the 9th and 10th that weekend in September. So yeah, be on your toes for that. It's bound to be great. Spa-Francorchamps, of course, another classic, marvelous circuit out there in the world of racing. But anyway, that's all the action from Estoril. Thank you for commentating with me, Felix. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, any final thoughts on the race you saw today, or either race?
Well, it's been very close racing between all the guys all the way through the field as well. So yeah, great job by the drivers, and yeah, just really exciting stuff.
Okay, so all remains to be said is congratulations to our 2 winners, Miguel Balesta and Pablo Lopez, and congratulations to our overall meeting winner, Christian Kvitnicki. We'll see you in Spa-Francorchamps. Thanks for joining us here. Goodbye for now.